How's it going, everybody? Thank you very much for watching. I always appreciate it. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. Welcome to another classic movie review. This is my review of White Heat. This came out in 1949. It is a classic black and white noir gangster film. Stars the legendary James Cagney, who is an icon of old Hollywood. He starred in some great films, movies like Yankee Doodle Dandy. He was in The Public Enemy, Angels with Dirty Faces, The Roaring Twenties, and this was directed by Raoul Walsh, who directed James Cagney in The Roaring Twenties about 10 years prior to this film. James Cagney was a big movie star that would get cast as a gangster in many of his films, very much in the same way that Al Pacino and Robert De Niro would be cast as a lot of gangster type roles in many of their films in their prime. But Cagney is more like a Joe Pesci type in like the way that Pesci played his character in Casino, particularly in this film, in the way that James Cagney's character in this film, Cody Jarrett is his name. He kind of reminds me of the Pesci character from Casino in the way that he's just completely psychotic. And at the very beginning of the film, there is a pretty cool train robbery. I think it's a mail train, and we see a nice little stunt of Cagney's character jumping on the roof of the train as it's moving, and him and his pals hold up the train. After Cody and his gang pull off the train robbery job, they hide out for a little bit where they reunite with Cody's mom, Ma Jarrett, played by Margaret Wycherley, and Cody's wife. Virginia Mayo was in movies like The Princess and the Pirate, The Iron Mistress, and Smart Girls Don't Talk, and she's a very good actress, and she's very good in the part of Verna. And she's the kind of character that is kind of symbolic of a lot of females in film noir films, the kind of women that are very hard to trust and are sultry and provocative, but also have that kind of wicked side to them. Cody's right hand man in the gang is played by actor Steve Cochran in the role of Big Ed, and when you watch the film you get a sense that Cody is friends with him but doesn't trust him 100%. And both these guys are tough guys, and what I really dig is how Cody is kind of warning people, if you're going to betray me, and he's kind of paranoid like that, so he's constantly kind of challenging them and kind of warning them, if you guys ever want to double cross me, I'm down to take you guys on. James Cagney is great as Cody Jarrett all throughout this film. He has this really explosive temper and he's very unpredictable. The whole movie he is unbalanced for pretty much the entire runtime, and just a very kind of paranoid personality. And yeah, pretty soon the law catches up to him after the robbery, and there's a nice little shootout. Cody has this scheme to take credit for a crime committed by someone he knows, the kind of crime that will get him a lighter sentence, pretty much. And so he ends up going to prison, having to serve a sentence for 1 to 3 years, basically. And in the meantime, Ma Jarrett is out with his wife Verna and the gang and Big Ed, and Ma Jarrett is kind of trying to hold things down, basically. But Cody doesn't know that Big Ed and Verna are pretty much, double crossing him. Margaret Wycherley, who plays Cody Jarrett's mother in the film, who is referred to as Ma Jarrett, gives an excellent performance all throughout this movie. She is just as much of a criminal as her son. She is twisted and paranoid and even pretty smart, and is pretty good at helping him out with strategy. And they have this saying between the two of them, "Top of the world, Ma," he says to her, and she says, "Top of the world, son," because that is where they aim to be. Ma Jarrett's also very smart, and she kind of has a good sense of what Big Ed is capable of. And there's a great scene where she goes to visit her son while he's in prison, and they're talking through the glass, and she pretty much says, I think that he's gonna try and betray you. And sure enough, she's right. Cody's mom tells him that while he's inside, she'll just take care of Big Ed herself, and Cody warns her not to do it because she's kind of an old lady and he's afraid for her. And then one day he's in prison in the cafeteria, and he finds out his mother's dead. And that's a great scene. He really kind of goes nuts, starts kind of wailing on the table, and even running across the table, knocking over people's trays, and just having a big ass fit. And then the cops, the guards get him and take him to like the padded room and stuff, put him in a straitjacket, and he really has like a breakdown. Another great moment in the film is when Cody is working in the prison, and there's a guy that has been hired by Big Ed to bump off Cody on the inside, and there's also a guy on the inside that is an undercover cop. He's played by actor Edmund O'Brien in the role of Fallon, and Fallon is now going by the name of Vic, as he is pretending to be in prison with everybody. And when something really heavy is about to fall from up above on top of Cody, Fallon saves his life. And so from there on, he kind of tries to work his way in to Cody's good graces. And that guy that almost killed Cody, Cody has his eye on him for the rest of the time he is in prison. But then, Cody, he's ready to leave. After he gets the news about his mother being dead, he quickly comes up with a plan to bust out of prison, and he does bust out of prison. But when he does, he takes that guy that tried to kill him, takes him hostage, and when they're on the outside and they escape, there's a great scene where he has him in a trunk. The guy being in a trunk is starting to yell, complaining about not being able to breathe. And so what does Cody do? Takes his gun, gives him some breathing holes by shooting directly right into the trunk. And then you don't hear the guy screaming and hollering anymore. And so, yeah, there are some cold-blooded moments. This character very much feels like the most out of control of all the gangsters he's played. This is that gangster that is to be feared, and very much kind of the prototype for like future gangster crazies that Joe Pesci would be known for in movies like Casino and Goodfellas. When you watch James Cagney in this movie, you will know what I'm talking about in terms of that comparison. And it's pretty cool to see where that kind of thing stems from. At the very end of Goodfellas, one of the final shots of that film was a shot of Joe Pesci firing a gun with this background of a brick wall as he's wearing like this suit and hat, and looks like an old school revolver. And just the way he's pointing at the screen, and you just see that for only a few seconds, that's very much Martin Scorsese's kind of paying tribute to this era of gangster films. So yeah, it's very cool when you think about how gangster films kind of began with movies like this, and Little Caesar, and 1932 Scarface, and Public Enemy, and other Cagney films, and then later on where gangster movies kind of ended up with the whole Goodfellas era. If you're into gangster movies, you should take a look at the classic black and white 30s films. There is a lot of cool material when it comes to the genre, especially James Cagney's work, and I highly recommend White Heat from 1949. It is a great black and white gangster noir film that you should definitely look out for. I think you can find it on streaming on HBO Max. I've come across it there a time or two. But like I'm always saying, get your hard copies, man. Get your hard copies, because one day they're going to be gone, all of them. Thank you all very much for watching this classic movie review. I very much appreciate you. If you're into movies, if you're into this kind of thing, hit the bell, become a subscriber, and please don't forget to comment, share, and like. It really helps out the channel. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for watching. I very much appreciate it, and please look out for the next classic movie review. Everybody take care, God bless, and happy holidays.